whoever wants to go first.
She's on the list for a fourth.
All right, I'll go first. I'm Colleen O'Connell. I am running for municipal court judge here in Hardin County. Sorry, Michelle.
Wow, I don't want to, this will probably be better. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to introduce myself to the village council here. I've been an attorney in Hardin County for 33 years. I've been an attorney for 35 years total. I am currently the acting judge in Hardin County Municipal Court. As acting judge, I hear cases that Judge Grimsley can't, either because he's conflicted out, or if he's out of town at a conference or on vacation or whatever he might be doing, that he can't hear the cases. I then hear all his cases for that day or that time period. I am also magistrate in small claims division. So I take a little offense at the don't take it to small claims court.
Oh, it's been eons. It's painful.
I am the magistrate in small claims court. I have been the magistrate in small claims court since 2019. I've been acting judge since 2013, beginning of 2013, so for 12 years now. Prior to that, I was in private practice in Hardin County doing criminal defense and family law. I've also been a magistrate in Wyandotte County for 8 years in the general division for Judge Aubrey over there, doing all cases there. I also was city prosecutor before that in the municipal court of Hardin County with Judge Hart, who some of you may know. And in private practice before that, again, doing family law and criminal defense. I've got over 20 years of judicial experience between my magistrate job and being acting judge in Hardin County, so I am running for that position now. I also am staff attorney for child support currently, so I establish all the paternity cases, establish child support and enforce child support orders in Hardin County, and I'm the only attorney in Hardin County doing that as well. Community service things that I've done, I've been on the board of DD for 16 years till I was term limited out. I was president of that for at least 8 of those years. During that time, we transitioned into HARCO being its own independent entity. It used to be under the board of DD. We transitioned that out. I also have been a member of the Republican Party, an active member since 2019. I'm in the Republican Women's Group. I do the highway cleanup, do the Christmas party, I'm in charge of that. Do other activities with the Republican Party, which I've been doing for 6 years now. So I'm here just to let everyone know who I am, what my experiences are, and to ask for your support in May. Any questions? And I've known Brandon for a really long time.
Where's your time for anything else with all that?
Yeah. And so if you got judge and you would, what about those other things that you do?
If I was judge, I would not be magistrate or acting judge, and I would no longer work at child support. I would do it, it's a part-time position. However, my intent, if I win the election, is to do it as a full-time job and not have any other job that I'm doing.
Is there, what's the current caseload as far as with Grimsley doing part-time? And if you go to full-time, would you have, does he have a backlog that you would get caught up on, or is there a big enough caseload for a full-time?
Full-time has to be done by the act of legislature. It has to be done by legislative act to make it full-time. Right now, the court runs about 700 cases per year. This year it's going to be artificially higher due to the construction and the tickets that are going to be associated with that. Historically, it runs about 700 cases a year between traffic cases, criminal cases, small claims cases, and other civil cases. That's what they run.
But he doesn't have a backlog or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, he may have a couple cases he's doing
Right, but it's
decisions
not
on, but
yeah.
it's not, no. There's time limits in municipal court, and as far as I'm aware, he's never run over those time limits. Things do, especially in criminal and traffic court, have to run rather quickly. We have certain time limits to get things done, and he does do that.
So how would you fill a full-time position?
Well, it's not full-time.
No, if they moved it to full-time, how would you make up the difference from what he's doing currently to a full-time?
You wouldn't. You would have the same caseload.
Oh, okay.
You could be there more. You could have court more often,
Oh, okay.
which may make it easier for law enforcement.
I see. Yeah, I really know very little
visit.
about the court. I don't visit the courts, no.
Right now, he has court Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I have my small claims docket, and a lot of my acting judge cases are on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And when he has jury trials, they're usually on Fridays.
Okay.
It's been that way when I was prosecutor in 1998, it was that way.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Andrew?
Guarding the door.
I'm gonna stand up over here so I can. So I don't think I'm a stranger to most people in this room. You guys know I'm the solicitor for the village of Forest. I'm also the solicitor for the village of Patterson. I'm also the attorney for the ambulance district here in Jackson Township, Jackson Forest Ambulance. So, but a couple things you may not know about me is I'm your local candidate. I'm born and raised in Hardin County, Kenton graduate, 1989. Ohio State educated undergrad, and Ohio Northern University Law School, where I graduated and taught my class with distinction. Very proud of that. My parents are John and Nanda Tudor residents. I'm a third generation attorney. I'm very proud of the fact that my family has an unprecedented level of experience serving not the surrounding counties, not the area, Hardin County. My grandfather was Arthur D. Tudor. He was the judge in Hardin County for decades. My father, John Tudor, retired, and unfortunately not doing well health-wise right now, was in practice for over 40 years. I had the privilege of practicing with him for 15 years. In my practice, I did, it's largely a civil practice, but we did a lot of the things. The thing you gotta understand about the municipal court is that it's mainly traffic and misdemeanor criminal. That's the most of its docket. And then the rest of it's civil. But it doesn't do anything with domestic, it doesn't do anything with child support, it's not that type of thing. So the practice that I did, in my practice, was business formation, contract negotiation, civil litigation, landlord-tenant collection law. And these are the kind of things that are practiced in the municipal court. And of course, during this 14 years I was with my father, practicing in that regard, I also did defense work, not in the surrounding courts, in that court. I'm reminded of a saying by Jack Nicklaus when he was practicing one time. They talked about how you guys are good, and they said practice makes perfect. And he said, no, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So what you do has to be relevant to the job that you want. And I have been kind of, in a sense, and not by accident, prepping myself to be a judge in Hardin County all my career as a legal professional. And 4 years ago, I got the opportunity to be the prosecutor in the municipal court. I've done that for the last 4 years. I'm the only one. I have one part-time staff, and so that means, what does that mean? That means 100% of the traffic charges, not crimes, 100% of the misdemeanor criminal charges come through my hands. The only time I can't do it is if I'm personally conflicted out. Now, my opponent told you that she is the sitting judge, and that's true, but that means she's a substitute judge. She's only in there when Grimslett is not there. Grimslett is the judge. Sometimes I've had people ask me, well, isn't she the judge or is Grimslett the judge? Grimslett is the judge. And she's not the only one. There's another one. Dick Reese also is one of the other options for a substitute judge. Bottom line is, and what she said is absolutely true, and I'm not taking anything away from her. She spends probably maybe an hour or so a month in that court practicing. I spend 20 to 30 hours a week practicing in that court. Other than Judge Grimslett himself, there's not one attorney in this town who spent more time in arraignments, sentencing, probation files, trials. In second place, I didn't even close. I've got the experience. I've been working on it for a long, long time. Again, I'm just a proud third generation attorney in this township, in this county. I met a lot of people, and they know my family. Our dedication is unprecedented. In fact, there's a fourth generation tutor in law school right now. We'll see if she ends up coming to Hardin County or not. No guarantees, but she's a sharp cookie. She very well may be. Why do I want to be your judge? Well, this is my home. I love Hardin County. I want to do everything I can to make it as good as possible. And I think it's a natural extension from what I've done so far. I have friends who went to school here, my classmates who said that they loved growing up in Hardin County in the rural area, but they're sad that they can't do it. Their kids can't make a career here. I'm hoping I can do what I can to change that to some degree. Because I want my kids to be able to grow up in a place like this, like I enjoyed so much. And again, my grandfather, like I said, was a judge in this county for decades. He was my hero. And I thought when I was a kid, there was nothing better to aspire to be a judge, and not just anywhere in this county. So I hope I can do that. I hope I can get your support. I think I'm by far the most qualified candidate, well-rounded. I've got the relevant experience, the experience that this court actually does. And I've fostered good relationship with law enforcement. I think anyone who works with me would tell you that. I've worked very hard, and that's been one of the most enjoyable part of being a prosecutor, is working with the officers that are in this room, the Sheriff's Office, Canton PD, AAPD, Ohio Highway Patrol, and the wildlife officers. I've really enjoyed that part of the job, and those guys have a very difficult job, and I respect the heck out of them. Anyways, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll go ahead and answer the question about, you kind of mentioned full-time versus part-time. That court is a part-time, it's one of only, I think, 4 in the state that's a part-time court. And as you said, it would take an act of legislature to turn it into a full-time court. I've been practicing that court for 4 years as the prosecutor, and pushing 20 otherwise. But what I can tell you is I certainly would not be in favor of making that full-time to pat in someone's wallet. I think we owe it to the citizens of Hardin County who are already taxed high enough, and there's a bunch of levies coming up and everything else. I think we need to be cognizant of their pocketbooks. I think it's worked pretty well. I would have to be convinced that turning it into a full-time court with the expense that would take is necessary, and right now I don't think it is. So it would be my intention to maintain it as a part-time court. I think that's the right way to go unless something drastically has changed. I mean, there are right now hundreds of trucker cases that will pass. And, but I think normally, I mean, there's times the docket is very full and it's very challenging, especially as I'm the only attorney in that office as a prosecutor. But we do our best to get it done. We have to be very nimble and quick on our feet and you know the cases that are important. And I figure out what cases are important by talking to the police officer. If they come to me and say this is an important case to them, it's an important case to me. That case is going to trial. I'll fight all day long for that case. But I also have to be practical and say some cases we have to deal with it a little more quicker. So, any questions? I'm happy to answer. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. You mentioned part-time court versus full-time court.
Mhm.
Never really knew there was part-time court versus full-time court. So what constitutes the difference? Is it the number of cases that are held?
Well, it's legislation. Many of the larger jurisdictions have full-time courts and multiple judges in full-time court, like say Franklin County. Hardin County is one of the only, I think it's 4 that's part-time. It's just the way it was set up through legislation. That means there's not court every day. They have Monday, and it's not all day Monday too. Tuesday mornings, usually nothing on Wednesday unless there's a conflict with judge. And it means the judge can't hear a case. It'll be heard on Wednesdays typically. Thursdays, morning and afternoons, but not for a very long time. And Fridays are just for jury trials. So again, it's probably on an average week, the court, you know, in terms of my prosecuting responsibilities, again, I prosecute, and I don't mean time just in court preparing cases and whatnot. 20 to 30 hours a week is what I spend probably prosecuting. But it is a full-time court. It's a part-time court, so my position as a prosecutor is part-time. So that's why if you call the office, you're not always going to get someone answering the phone, but we return our phone calls.
So are most counties in the state of Ohio full-time?
Most of them are full-time, yep.
Full-time.
Very few exceptions.
So we're one of the few that.
But
are
we're also one of the
part-time.
smaller counties, you know, I mean, there's smaller
Gotcha.
ones, but, and like I said, my intention would never be do it just because of pay or just because we could. It'd have to be justified because
Right,
it costs the
absolutely.
taxpayers real money. And you know, this court, by the way, people think of it sometimes as the Kenton Municipal Court or the Kenton. It's Hardin. It's countywide. Our jurisdiction is countywide. So the effect of going full time would affect everybody in Hardin County's taxes.
Interesting, I never knew that.
You said it's done by the legislature. Does that have to be requested locally, or can the legislature say, hey, you've got enough cases, we're just making it?
You'd have to find
If
someone
they
to
do that.
sponsor it. Yeah, you'd have to find someone to sponsor it and bring it through. I mean, and that wouldn't be my intention. I don't know what my opponent would want to do. Yes, ma'am.
Does that mean that you would no longer be our solicitor?
It's a part-time court, and just like Judge Grimslett, he has a private practice. I intend to maintain that. I think it can be, if I find it's not feasible, then I'll have to reevaluate it. But my intention right now is to maintain my private practice and maintain my other activities outside here. I think it's very, 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 very feasible. I mean, really, I'm spending the same amount of time. Again, almost anytime that court is in session, I'm there. So I'm doing it now in terms of the amount of hours. So the only thing that would cause problems if there was some sort of conflicts or something to that effect, which, you know, we have to kind of cross that bridge when and if I get there. But my intention would be to maintain private practice. I don't want to take any more time. I know I've been over 5 minutes.
Could you quickly just, what the difference between your position in that court and Colleen's position, like,
Currently,
yeah, like what was it that she did again?
Colleen is the magistrate, so that means her docket is small claims court, which I believe meets
Which is
one day a month, and it just depends on how many cases there are. Small claims court is where you go when you don't have attorneys and people are fighting over smaller dollar amount things. If judge has a conflict, she's one of a couple attorneys who can sit in for him.
Right.
Say it's one of judge's clients he can't be fair and hear that case, so she would sit in. I have the same problem. If I have a family member or someone I'm really close to, I can't prosecute them, so I have a relationship with Ben Buckland over in Upper Sandusky, and we help each other out in that circumstance. So she is I would call it a substitute judge now, and the magistrate for the small claims. And
But as
my
the
job
pro-
is prosecutor. I'm
But as prosecutor, you're in the court with Grimslid.
absolutely 100%
Right,
of the
where
traffic.
she is
100%.
not, she is not.
It's one or the other. It's not both. Yes.
Right, so you had said that you spent more time in there than she did.
Yep. I want to move.
Oh,
Thanks. Happy to talk to you about it later if you want.
yeah.
Okay, it doesn't look like there's any old business.
You're fine.
New business. Go ahead. I don't know. What's wrong?
Did I give you the wrong thing or something?
Well, there was somebody else on hers to talk about the water bill.
Oh, there's been I put it on there, there's an updated, agenda, he decided not to.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Well,
Oh, or not.
I'd like to ask two questions.
Okay.
But if it's not my turn, I'll wait.
go ahead, real quick.
How do you read the bill? How do you read the water meter? You come up to the house? How do you do that?
So there's a couple different ways. We have digital where it reads by a scanner, so it just
You
goes.
drive by?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Just do a drive-by, where we manually read it, where we go to the
Okay.
meter, flip the lid, and we read the numbers that are on it, write it down, and we bring it back.
I talked to Jay earlier, he was really great, he answered 99% of my questions. And the other thing is, I noticed today, and I talked to some other people, I've got, the last 2 months' bills are identical. And astronomically, mathematically impossible, 4 other people I know in town have bills, the last 2 months are identical. 5,000 gallons. I don't know how that can be.
My bills are identical a lot, like, cause it goes by 1,000 gallons, so like every 3rd or 4th month, I'll roll over to an extra 1,000 gallons and then it'll go
Wow.
back down.
I got 2 people living in my house, and we've been cutting back to the point where it's ridiculous, and I use 5,000 gallons. There's no way. I don't understand. And when I moved in here 8 years ago, it's a beautiful town, I love living here. Wish there's more food options and a car wash, but other than that, it's a great little town. But, it was $44, and I'm up to averaging over 125. And I hate to admit it, but we don't shower every day because of this. I hate to admit that. Holy crap.
How many gallons did you use when you first moved in?
Well, see, that's, when I collect everything, and, she made me clean my drawer out. I had 7 years of receipts. Yeah, she said it's time for that drawer to be emptied. Well, we did that Christmas, or New Year's Day, and all I have is 3 bills, but I wish I'd been paying more attention. I'm not a smart man, as Forrest said, but I don't understand how I can have a bill, and 3 other people I talked to today are almost within pennies identical with the same amount, 2 months in a row. And I'm paying more for water than I've ever paid for in my entire life. Usually it's electric, gas, and stuff that's higher. My water bill is higher than my gas bill and my electric bill. First time in 50 years of owning houses. And I'm just curious, what's going on? Am I wrong? Are you guys right? I have questions. And other people want to know why bills are double. I asked you about that earlier, Jay, remember?
Yep.
And then I went home and I talked to her daughter, and she had the same issue. They were both the same $121, same amount. And how come it's not $4,995? Why is it always rounded out to you know what I mean?
I think we're charged per 1,000 gallons,
Yeah.
so like, so if you're at 4,995, you get charged for 4,000, but then the next
Right.
month, when you go get that extra 5 gallons, it goes to the next 1,000, so you might start the month on day 2 at 1,000 gallons, cause it's rounding up to the next number.
Now, I don't know if I got.
Right?
if
I think that's how
if
that works.
So, I'm not sure.
I have a little 14-foot pool we filled up a couple years ago. It's like 1,500 gallons. You know, and my water bill was $100 that month. And you're telling me that 2 people who don't shower every day and only wash 2 loads of laundry a week are paying using 5,000 gallons of water?
I mean, have you checked for leaks, all
Yeah,
your
I've
toilets?
had people at the house.
What about like your washer and,
Nothing's leaking.
well, no, are they efficient?
No, they're nice Amandas. I mean, they're a couple years old, but we don't hardly ever use the damn things.
Yeah.
We take the big stuff up to the laundromat. You know, comforters and stuff like that. That's hard on a machine, but, you know, I'm just,
So maybe Jay can get with you sometime and see if there's anything on our end that's causing this problem.
well, there's other people in town. It was on that little, I just got turned on to your little Facebook page there. And several of the people said that their bills have been the same for the last 2 months. Mathematically, that is impossible for all that many people
I
to have
think
the
some
same
of-
bill.
Some of them were estimated, I do believe.
Okay, well, if we're estimating, am I being corrected?
Yes, when it
When it gets red,
yes.
And I might be due for a correction here, cause I got 2 bills for $146. If I'm wrong, I apologize, and like I said, it's a great little town, I love living here, but my water bill's my highest utility, and I've never had that in 50 years of owning a house.
well, we can try to figure it out somehow, some
Yeah,
way.
well, he said he was gonna look into that.
Okay.
But after I talked to you, I talked to her daughter and other people who've had the last couple of months the same bill, within pennies, the same amount. And 5,000 gallons,
Do you mind sharing that information with me later?
I'll do whatever you want.
So I can look at the accounts, cause I have yours in my office, I didn't get a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah, no, whatever, man.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to cause, I've never had a water bill more than any
We pay
utility.
the water bills too.
Yeah, but 5,000 gallons, that's pouring water out to a house somewhere.
Yeah. Jay will look into it.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
I like living here, I've been here 8 years. Brandon knows me. Give me a ticket once.
That's not always a good thing. Not always a good thing to be known by very.
All right, so, there's no old business, new business.
Yeah,
Permanent
something wrong.
appropriations for 2025. Finance, Brenda?
So we,
We don't even show them.
sent the email with the final appropriations that, and then everybody
Yeah,
should have a copy.
yeah, we're doing that.
No. We have to have it approved, a budget approved, the final budget approved this meeting.
Any discussion, or we wanna go straight to a vote?
Motion to approve the budget?
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Brenda?
Susie?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
Jerry?
I haven't looked at it, that's not even 1,000. So I'll just abstain.
Mary?
Yes.
Val?
Yes.
Is there any other, new business? Okay, committee reports. Mayor/president has 0, nothing. I like how you did that there.
I know. It brought me joy.
Finance? That's all you got?
Well, we talked about the utility billing because G-Works is giving a lot of headaches.
they were talking about a different provider, which we made no decision on at this time. And then discussion was brought up about a digital time clock option for 3 employees, which at this time, we didn't feel that that was wise use of our money. And that we're gonna use the funds from the OWDA to pay Wessler's engineering invoice. Which, how much was that?
It's like just under.
14,000.
So it was 14.
I have it, I mean, exact.
Cause that's a 0%
loan.
loan, so we figured we might as well take it out of there instead of take it out of our account. And that was what we discussed.
Alright, safety?
We met in January, we didn't have anything to bring to council at that time, and we did not meet in February, but we'll be meeting this month.
Okay. Police chief?
Just a few things. Statistic-wise, for the month of February, the police department handled 204 calls for service. The traffic arrests, we only had 8 4 speeds with an average of 17 miles an hour over the limit. No through truck traffic, and 1 from a traffic crash. Auxiliary donated 97 hours of service. Again, a short month, so usually we're at over 100, but still pretty commendable. On the note of auxiliary, Lieutenant Young, I think he stepped out, but he and I spoke, and we decided that auxiliary officer Raylan Herr was given a title of corporal, which obviously she doesn't get paid anyway, so it's not a pay increase, but with her nearly 800 hours of service since July, the fact that she's willing to come in after riding all day and get called back in to help us with traffic control and be out at 8 o'clock with us the next morning. The title kind of makes her the head of the auxiliary, is the liaison between sworn officers and the auxiliary, and also lets her coordinate anything that like for Market Square stuff, if we need people, she can take care of that, and she can be the go-between, just basically the head of the auxiliary. And that was effective March 10th. And lastly, the police department has adopted, after what I can only estimate 30 plus years, we've created and are implementing a new patch, which we have here, and I'm glaring, but well, it's a long story. But, you know, the old one just wasn't really town specific. You know, this one we incorporated a nice tree forest. They look great in person. They're actually a little, the gray is not as dark, but it's just kind of a breath of fresh air. After 30 plus years of kind of a generic patch, we have something that we created on our own, so. What's that? It's on the door there too. The green one.
It's saying post.
But, yeah, so you'll see it on our uniforms in the very near future. They're actually getting patched right now, and our letterhead's all changed. And that's it for me.
Where's that tree located? I've never seen that tree in town.
It's at the park somewhere.
I can tell you where it'd be if you wouldn't find it.
Fire chief, is Doug here?
Can I have a question? Do you guys, like, when, let's say, do you keep track of, like, when you guys aren't here and county has to come and cover anything, is that tracked or anything, just in case we would ever want to hire anybody else? You can say, hey, look.
So everything that obviously, we're dispatched through the county. The county dispatches Kenton, Ada, themselves and us, when we go to central dispatch. It's all in a CAD system, it's computer aided dispatch. If something happens in the overnight hours, I'll read about it when I come in, they'll have a message if it needs follow-up from us or if they handled it. But if we had to do a deep dive, we could pull up all the records of stuff that they handled in our absence. Oh yeah, yeah, everything is kept on. In this day and age, it's all the numbers are there and.
Yeah, I just. Thank you.
Fire chief? Nothing? Is anybody here from the ambulance board? Okay. Service, we met last week. We talked about scheduling a spring cleanup day for May 3rd. I don't know if there's any conflicts with that that anybody knows of. If that works for everybody, we'll shoot for May 3rd from, I think it's usually 9 to noon, so.
Is that's before the garage sales, right? And they usually try to.
Yes, they're right after. They're that weekend after. I can't think of the date, but it's like 7th, 8th, 9th or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's when that's gonna
So
be.
10. That'd be 10.
Maybe.
The third, the second.
I know it's after the cleanup.
9, 10.
Yeah,
The garage sale would be 9, 10.
right, but then we usually have the cleanup after the garage sales.
I don't know.
That's what we usually did, was, so they could, what they did at South.
Well, no, that makes sense.
So I guess it really doesn't matter, we just need to schedule a date and stick to it. So if May 3rd doesn't work, if we
Then
want
the 17th, because that's the Saturday after the sales.
Be careful your,
Yeah, what
Mother's
day
Day
is
the
soccer?
11th.
I was looking more at soccer. Soccer's usually on Mother's Day
Mother's Day,
weekend.
that's what I said, when is
And it's
Mother's
usually the
Day?
same time
That
as
would be the
garage
10th then,
sales.
soccer, Mother's Day is the 11th.
I think Mother's Day's the next weekend.
Mother's Day's the 11th.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
Is it the 11th? Okay.
So if the garage sales are the 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then Mother's Day's the 11th, then the 17th should work.
Yeah, I would assume. If everybody's good with that, that's what we'll do.
So move it to the 17th?
Yeah.
Okay.
And soccer will throw a fit into us and do it different this year. Just saying. I said, and soccer will go and
Oh, do
change
oh,
their.
I see.
Oh,
what
I
you're
hope not.
I hope not too.
Well, do they,
It's
I
not
mean,
really gonna interrupt much.
yeah, how, would it interrupt them being down at the flat to have the dumpster? I wouldn't think
No,
so. Yeah,
no,
okay.
it's just a matter of so many people being in town is what I'm not,
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm not saying, I was just joking,
Gotcha.
jeez. I won't do it anymore.
No, I just,
It's usually 9 to noon.
9 to noon?
I just didn't want it,
9 to noon.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't think they were gonna be parking down there and like in the way or something.
Not that I
Down at
know
the
of.
flats, there will be 2 dumpsters. Present either an ID with a forest address or a water bill, and you can dump your stuff.
Your smiling face. Mhm.
Is there a list of stuff you can
I'm sure that there is, and.
I think you can't put anything with Freon in there, you can't put
No tires,
like
no
oils,
batteries.
yeah, no construction materials,
Paints, aerosols.
yeah.
Like if you wouldn't put it in your commercial dumpster, you're not putting it in our dumpster.
Thank you.
There was several other things that we discussed during the meeting, but nothing to really bring to full council at this point. We are, we'll be hiring a seasonal worker for the parks. Job posting apparently will be complete this week. Administrator?
Not too much. Did have the inspection with the EPA on the water plant, so I'm just waiting to hear back with the report. EPA's also given us some assistance on the well projects out there. had a meeting with Airvac and Wessler the other day to discuss the sewer issues on the backside. Airvac personnel came out, was able to locate a leak on the main line on B line. Since then, we have joined Rural Water and Wastewater Association, contacted them too. They will be out Monday with a camera to confirm the leak. Once the leak is confirmed, we will get it fixed. Pothole repairs will begin on Monday. We're aware there's a lot of potholes. We'll be repairing them with the cold patch, and once completed, we'll start on alleyways. AEP is also asking for a franchise agreement to be signed within the village. They're asking for 50 years as the previous agreement was. We're gonna speak to them, get a little bit more information, see what we can work out before going any further.
And John, is that the first time you're seeing, or Andrew, the first time you're seeing that?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So we want him to review that.
So,
I got a, paper that I signed from Mark Ball concerning the, streets and stuff.
Yes, was that somewhere else in here? Or
Yeah,
was
I
that
threw it
supposed to be
in,
me?
no, so yeah, Mark we're really close of getting that grant, the one that we agreed to the match. And so Loretta was very nice to sign the paperwork, and he came and we got it, and, so yeah, we're in the process of that.
So it's all about scoring, and if we, just by increasing a little bit more, helps with our scoring. Obviously, we know what shape all the roads are in, and the shape of the roads is what
Yeah, he wanted
increases
to
our
know if
score.
we had done any work on any of them streets in the last 30 years. I said, nope.
I said she'd know about Campbell. No, he said that he's like, we are so close, and so like, just increasing like a percent, where we had committed to 10%, to increasing it to 11% match would give us that edge, for that point. So, and he said it's over $500,000 for the grant, so we'd be dumb not to do that, so. We've been working on it.
Did we go forward and increase that? We didn't need an approval from council?
I talked to Dave, cause he had to have it signed yesterday, that's why he was rushing out to Loretta's work, cause it has to be filed. So I called Dave and he said, go ahead and make sure that the fund account, and so we did go up the 1%.
This is for $500,000?
For the grant.
The grant for the work is roughly $560,000. What we have to match would be 11%, so you're looking at
Oh,
roughly
I
about
thought you
60.
said it was an equal match, that's what you mean.
No.
anything else, Jay?
Nope, that's it.
Park board?
The old concession stands have been moved and are ready for maintenance department, you know that. We plan to order more fish. Spring cleanup is scheduled for March 29th with a rain date of April 5th. And, we are looking to investigate grants for playground equipment. And we've, added some more projects to Jay's list, cause he just loves us.
It's been fun. But I get to pick the fish, right?
You cannot get barracudas or, like piranhas or anything like that.
Well, eliminate the
I know it'd be
swimming.
fun, yes, it
No
would eliminate
electric
the,
eels.
it'd eliminate the skinny
Oh,
dipping.
way to take all the fun out of it.
I know.
And, spoke with Dave earlier, he is, willing to appoint Amy Vogel to park board. She was on park board before, that's her letter of intent. She just shows her her interest in park board. So, it's mayor's appointment with council approval, so. He is appointing, now you guys need to approve.
Is Park supportive of
Yeah.
Amy?
That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just do a vote.
Well, we need a motion.
We
and
do a
second,
motion,
so-
okay.
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Now we can vote.
All right, Loretta,
Yes.
Susie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yeah.
Mary,
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
Alright, anything else from Park?
Nope, that's it.
Alright. Market Square?
Nothing, still, we'll have a meeting in April, to set up the schedule and stuff.
Alrighty. CIC?
We just haven't had a meeting since the last time either, so
Okay.
we've got a few things building up on the agenda.
You wanna tell them when the next meeting is?
I don't remember.
It's the sixth,
It's
it's
the sixth.
April the 16th.
Okay, that's when the next meeting
At
is.
the Forest Jackson Lawyer.
Is it at 12 or 12:30?
12. No lunches are provided anymore.
Okay.
We don't have money.
Well,
That's everybody. They decided this year, I mean.
And we did get all those mailed out.
Thank you, yeah, the notices for stuff and the dates went out.
Alright.
Yeah.
Along with the membership, right?
The membership and then the other, there were two things. The membership,
And the meeting schedule.
the meeting schedule, and then there was something else. Yes.
And Brenda does have membership applications for any business or individual that they can get the application here or the library or the bank.
Okay, thank you.
$10 for individual.
Did do that.
Economic development. Don't really care at all, right?
Yeah, but apparently we sent out mailings I didn't know.
Yeah, it was from the.
For CIC, we help the members.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't meet this month. We're not meeting again until
That was
April, yeah. I have it on my calendar. April 23rd,
What time?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that all you have there?
That's all I have.
Zoning has not met, but I will be booking a meeting here soon. So I'm not even sure who's on it anymore. I know I am.
Not me.
Here, I'll tell you.
I'm on all.
Yeah, I can figure that out. I'll just send everybody a text and ask them when they're available. Human resources.
We did meet on the 10th. We started to update some job descriptions. We are also looking to implement some annual review forms and a system for that. We hope to have those to council by the April meeting, and we would like to have the review process in place by September, so we can be ready with that and make our recommendations for budget.
Oh, yeah, and Brandon's designing a new letterhead for us,
Yes,
a new village logo.
With a tree.
And he's still trying.
Brenda appointed him for that.
Hey, I didn't mind.
Anything else on human resource?
No.
Solicitor.
I reviewed, I think it's an early revision of this. I think the engineers have presented a replacement ordinance for the sewer. I think they're putting in a lot of the EPA standards that maybe were out of date from the last time this was done, which is, I don't know how long ago that was. It's a pretty extensive document, 29 pages, and unfortunately, it's really not, a lot of the issues that are going in there are not really legal questions, it's more like EPA and what the engineers want, so I think maybe it'd be a good opportunity sometime to, when you're meeting with them, I can sit down, maybe come to a meeting, we can discuss it. I mean, I reviewed it, and some of it's like, well, EPA wants this, and if you say so, engineer, that's what we're gonna do, but it's really not so much a legal question as it is trusting the engineers are putting the right language in.
Yeah, I believe we're supposed to have another meeting next month, so I'll try to get a hold of you
Yeah.
and schedule it with you.
Happy to be a part of that. That's basically it.
All right, thank you. Fiscal officer.
I don't know if y'all have heard. The G-Works upgrade has happened. Some of the utility bills, most of them, we had them go out late. Bills didn't get, reads didn't get uploaded, and then we had to wait, and then the printer decided to crash, and the whole thing. We're finding a lot of errors, which would happen when we went from the old system and it transferred. People were making payments during the time it was down, so we're trying to get that all cleaned up. Annie's been working really hard to learn the new system. so we're just gonna continue pushing through. So, that's that. We moved the utility due date, getting rid of the late fees for that month, if they're prior to the March 17th, so we do have that. Scheduled, I'm going to a conference. I'm really excited. I'm signed up to learn a lot of good things. Last year I wasn't able to go for the local government officials because it's what they always recommend all the fiscal officers to go to, but I had started after it already happened. So pretty pumped to go to that. And then we already talked about the street grant update. Jay and I and Loretta worked on getting the things around for Mark Dole so we can not lose out on that grant. That's what I got.
Anything else? Alright, I don't think we have anything else, so I'm missing something. I'll take a move to adjourn.
So moved.
For a second.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Come up and look at the